सॉल्विंग SFGs डे एंड नाइट। लेवल 1 नहीं किया था उन्होंने पहले सॉल्व, तो रात रात को बैठ के करते थे।
मेरे को वो एक रैंक की तलब लग गई थी सर, एक बार आने लगी तो फिर लगा कि नहीं यार नीचे नहीं जानी चाहिए।
जो यहाँ पे टेस्ट होगा आई विल गिव, चाहे मैंने कैसे भी दिया हो, पर मैंने वो टेस्ट रेगुलर दिए जब तक मैं यहाँ पे था।
Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to the Hindu newspaper analysis town hall. Today is November 24th and we are going to take a look at the following articles from the Hindu newspaper. First article, G20 summit which recently just concluded in South Africa. Here we will see what happened at the summit and what are the various initiatives being announced by India at the summit. Second, as we all know that the state public service commissions faces various challenges and issues in conducting the examination in fair and transparent manner. So here we will see the issues being faced and the reforms which are needed. Third, Ukraine peace plan. It's 27th of November, Thanksgiving Day, has been given the deadline by the United States to the Ukraine to either accept the plan or risk losing US as its ally. Fourth, food safety. The major focus on this will be street food and the hygiene and how it is regulated by the Food Safety Authority of India and what are the various things which are needed to be done. Then IBSA and UNSC reforms. IBSA summit also happened at the sidelines of G20. Okay, so let's start with the today's paper. G20 summit. There are two contexts to this majorly. First one, it was for the first time when G20 summit was happened in any African country. It concluded in South Africa. Second, boycott by US. President Donald Trump has not attended the G20 summit. So the conflict arose. Basically every year, now the South Africa is supposed to pass on the chairmanship of the G20 to the US because next year US is going to have the G20 summit. So US president has not come and has also not nominated any official representative of the president. So the South African Prime Minister said that he officially will not hand over the presidency of G20 to the United States. It can happen at the level of embassy. So officially, there was no transfer of presidentship from the South Africa to the United States. Okay. So now let's discuss the key initiatives which are proposed by India at the G20 summit. First of all, for Africa and Global South ke liye, what India has announced. First of all, skill multiplier initiative. What is under this? Under this, India will train 1 million Africans. It will impart the skill training to the people of Africa. That is 10 lakh people of Africa will be trained. Second, global healthcare response team, so that in case of any health emergencies, response can be activated. Response in terms of sending medicines, data, also doctors, in case vaccines are required, vaccines also. Then traditional knowledge repository will be created so that the health and the environment, the model can be sustainable using the old knowledge, the traditional knowledge in Africa as well as India. Then India talked about drug trafficking. So strong focus was given to drug trafficking by India. Okay, lethal drugs like fentanyl. This is important. A statement can come in prelims naming that fentanyl was in news recently. What is this? तो examples कुछ भी आएंगे, cough syrup है या कोई chemical है, then it is basically lethal drug, fentanyl. Okay, take a note of this. Also, India highlighted how drug trafficking is linked to the terror financing. So a strong focus was given on this so that it can be combated. Third, G20 open satellite data partnership. There should be open satellite for G20 which have data open for all the countries, like sharing of data for agriculture, fishing, disaster management. Then also there was talk about critical mineral circularity initiative, which focus on basically recycling and sustainable mining. उसके बाद अब AI से related Prime Minister laid main focus on this AI. AI Impact Summit is going to happen next year in India. India will host the AI Impact Summit. So India basically pitched in for a global AI compact, okay, which will focus on human oversight, safety, transparency, and also restrictions on the misuse of AI like deepfake, crime, terrorism. Prime Minister has specially focused on this, preventing the misuse of AI in crime and terrorism. Then Prime Minister has also launched ACITI. What is this? Australia, Canada, India, Technology and Innovation. It is basically the initiative launched by the Prime Minister to garner the partnership with the Australia and Canada in the field of technology and innovation. Also, India participated in the IBSA summit, which we also discussed. Okay, prelims point of view, two important informations are there. Three important informations. First, about fentanyl. Second, AI Impact Summit 2026 in India. And third, ACITI by India with Australia and Canada. Okay. Now, one more important thing for the prelims. Let us see about G20. What is G20? How it originated? Who are the members? It basically was established after the Asian financial crisis. 1997 or 98 का जो Asian financial crisis था, उसके बाद it was established in 1999. Initially finance ministers की meeting होती थी, but then it was basically upgraded to the leader summit in 2008, जो global financial crisis था उसके बाद. The main purpose of this is to promote the global economic stability, coordination and crisis response. Who are the members of this? See, there are 19 countries plus 2 regional organizations. One is European Union, second is African Union. African Union was admitted in the G20 2 years back only when the summit was held in New Delhi. Then African Union was admitted as the permanent member. इनको याद करने के लिए the important thing is this is the G7 countries. Okay. France, these are majorly the European and American countries. US and Canada, and 5 these European countries. UK, France, Japan is Asian country, then Italy and Germany. Okay, so 1 Asian country, 2 American countries, North American countries, and 4 European countries. G8 is Russia. Apart from these 8, there are 11 countries and 2 regional organizations. Regional organization हमने अभी देखा. So 8 plus 11 more countries. Argentina, Australia, Brazil, China, India, Indonesia, Mexico, Saudi, South Africa, South Korea and Turkey. So these are the members of G20. One question has already come like 3-4 years back in the prelims regarding who among the following are the members of the G20. So any day the question can come again. The importance of G20 is that 85% of the global GDP belongs to these countries, G20 countries. Okay. And 75 to 80% of the global trade also is done among these countries. Population share, 65% of the world population. Okay. So G20 is very important. Next year, the summit is going to happen in United States. Let's move to the next article. How can state PSCs be reformed? Iska context, what is the context? Basically, abhi in December, there is going to be a national conference of state PSCs. State PSC chairman's ki national conference in December. It will be hosted by Telangana. We all are aware that state PSCs, they face various controversies, litigation in cases, years, ek exam process is not getting completed. Exam cancellation, delays. Okay. So what are the various issues? First, we will see the structural issues, then we'll see the procedural issues, and then what are the reforms needed. Okay, structural issues में देखो, अब UPSC also conducts the exam, almost similar lines पे है, All India services के लिए and central services के लिए, but UPSC has never been in controversy. Majorly has not been in controversy regarding the exam leak or delays in the process or litigations. Why? So the issues of state PSCs can be seen clearly when we compare this to UPSC. UPSC basically is more politically sterile. Sterile matlab there are very less interference in the functioning of UPSC by the political executive. But in State Public Service Commission, the environment is basically osmotic. Osmosis में क्या होता है? There is to and fro, going and coming of the things from one medium to another. So there are basically transition of people from the political sphere to the public service commissions. Okay. The members of the UPSC are appointed majorly on basis of merit and the people who have strong public affairs experience. But in state public service commissions, the spoil system work. Okay, what is the criteria or the condition for public service commission members to be appointed? In constitutional, only one condition has been given. That is, half the members should have at least 10 years of experience in public life. In public life. Only for the 50% of the members, the criteria is there. Otherwise, there is no criteria as to who can be appointed. Even a political person can be appointed to the public service commissions. It happens regularly in the state public service commissions. So it is called a spoil system. Okay. And to conventional requirements like age qualification, they are frequently and largely ignored. Manpower, there is a Ministry of Personnel at the central level. Okay. Vacancies are also declared regularly. But at the state level, most of the states do not have a Ministry of Personnel. Vacancies are not declared regularly. Exam schedules are not consistent. Financial resources, they have adequate funds, but they are officially financially constrained. Okay, so recruitment backlog is the norm there in the states. I think hardly there is any state who is conducting the exam process like UPSC. Like every year, the exam is getting completed in a cycle of 12 months. There are always delays. There are 2, 3, 4 years, no vacancies. Even the vacancies come, they keep on like recruiting for those for 3, 4 years. Prelims 2 times, mains 2 times. Procedural issues. अब बारीकी में जाते हैं. As a UPSC aspirant or State Public Service Commission aspirant, you can relate to this. UPSC में syllabus revision is there. Periodic committees are there. So they ensure that the syllabus is being revised. But in State Public Service Commission, the committees are not appointed regularly. So syllabus redrafting is infrequent, not regularly. Okay. Then talent pool. Across the country, people are hired. But there are basically the sources are from state has to be there. Like for example, if in Uttar Pradesh exam is happening, Hindi is compulsory there. So it limits the talent pool. Who can participate in an exam where Hindi is compulsory? Or say in Maharashtra, who can participate in exam where Marathi is mandatory? Only the people of Maharashtra. Not many people know Marathi as much as they can, so that they can write an exam and clear it. Okay, so basically the talent pool has to be from that, majorly from the state. Okay, for the evaluation of the exam, there is time tested system of UPSC ka, even it's in public domain, but there are still things which are hidden, not clear to the public. But still, the evaluation standard is higher. Then grievance redressal, fast, quickly response. Abhi UPSC has introduced one reform, like prelims ke liye, they will declare the key after the prelims exam only. But this is already in practice in many states also. States have things in place. Like Uttar Pradesh, it conducts exam almost regularly. Even the optional subject is not there. Okay, they have moved to 4 GS papers, right? They declare the key also after the prelims exam. But the thing is, the implementation issues are there. Okay, frequent litigation which leads to the delays in the recruitment process. So what should be done? The article has suggested certain reforms. What are those? On structural lines and procedural lines. For structural lines, first of all, there should be dedicated ministry in each state. That is Ministry of Personnel. And it will declare according to the requirement how many officials are requirement. Accordingly, there should be a recruitment roadmap. for 5 years. For the next 5 years, we are going to recruit these many people for these services. And make sure that in the next 5 years, every year, you are notifying the vacancies. So 5-year roadmap with regular notification of vacancies. See, 2-3 years, so in certain state, there are no exam. If you require 20, 40, 50 people, just recruit. You should notify. And there should be a roadmap for long term, like 5 years. Then constitutional amendment should be there regarding certain provisions. Like there is no minimum and maximum age, it should be there. Also, it should ensure that non-political individuals are not appointed. Okay, that is, political individuals are not appointed, non-political people should be there. There should be criteria. As we discussed, the only criteria is that 50% of the members should have 10 years of experience, at least 10 years of experience. For official members, there should be at least secretary level people. For non-official member, 10 years in profession like law, medicine, engineering, so that they are people of merit. It will prevent political appointments. Okay. Also in appointment, there is leader of opposition should be consulted. It basically wants to say there should be committee based. Like for many, like CVC, we have committee based selection process where the leader of opposition is there in the committee. So there should be leader of opposition in the committees for the appointments. Also, there should be a statewide panel of the eminent person from where the people can be appointed. Then procedural reform. First of all, periodic syllabus revision should be there. Outdated syllabus should not be there. Second, exam structure में prelims is fine, completely objective, but the article suggests that in mains level, we should have subjective as well as objective papers to bring some level of objectivity. Okay. Then regional subject tested through objective type, say Karlo test, so that people from other states can also participate. For example, if I am supposed to write Shuddh Hindi, I belong to a Hindi state, but still if I am supposed to write a Shuddh Hindi, I will not be able to write it. So for the people, the language paper, the regional language paper, original subject should be in through objective type, so that limited knowledge can also help people go through it. And rest other subjects can be tested through the subjective papers. Then translation, a major problem, and confidentiality. In certain state, I'll not take the name of the states. In name of the state, what happened that in prelims paper, around 20 OMR sheets were filled in the Public Service Commission's office only after the prelims. That is, the rounding of the options A, B, C, D was done in the commission's office on the exam day only. So translation should be there. We are using technology to translate. Google Translate is there. AI translation is also there today. But it should be cross-checked by the human. That human oversight should be there. Also, for example, if questions are there in the exam, then the model answers are supposedly made from AI. Okay. So these questions should be updated regularly so that the AI generated copies, AI generated answers can be counted. Then again, these administration of PSCs, experienced secretary should be appointed. Okay. Evaluation, moderation, and reservation calculation should also be. A lot of time the cases go to the courts for the reservation. State Public Service Commission do not make clear-cut criteria that how many people are going to get the reservation, what percentage of people from which community, OBC, SC, ST, women. So because of the Uttarakhand case is there, Uttarakhand PSC case went to court and the exam was conducted multiple times. The result was declared multiple times because they could not get the reservation formula correct. Then also the transparency and confidentiality should be balanced. In the name of confidentiality, you cannot be opaque, but also confidentiality at certain level should be maintained. So this is about the reforms in the State Public Service Commissions. Then difficult choice. Ukraine ke samne, there is a difficult choice. Russia-Ukraine war is there. More than 3 years. US President Donald Trump wants to end the war, but it's not happening. So finally, the president has sent peace proposal to Ukraine. After having certain meetings with the President Putin, European leaders, and Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, basically peace proposal has been given, and he has given Zelensky the date, that is the November 27th, Thanksgiving Day. Either accept the proposal by Thanksgiving Day, or US is not going to be there to help Ukraine. Clear cut. So what are the various provisions of these? This paper has not been made public, so we are going to just get the idea from the newspaper coverage. 28-point plan. First of all, it will require Ukraine to cede territory in Donetsk and recognize Crimea. So Donetsk, Luhansk, Crimea, all these are going to be de facto Russian territories. Ceding territory. Second, Kherson and Zaporizhia, जो conflict जिस state पर है वो status quo रहेगा. But majorly क्या है? Russia has controlled it, so it will also be under Russia. Russia would withdraw from the territories it has captured outside these 5 oblasts. Okay, Crimea, Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson, Zaporizhia. All these are basically going to Russia, and outside this, if Russia has taken over any territory, it will leave. Then Ukraine will cap its armed forces at 6 lakh personnel. It will not keep more than 6 lakh. And also, this is the key point, it has to renounce its bid to join NATO. Ukraine will not join NATO. So ultimately what is happening is, after a war of 3 years, things are coming back to where they were. Crimea is going to Russia. Now this Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson, Zaporizhia are also going to Russia. Then there is no NATO for Ukraine. But ultimately what is there? The devastation that happened after the war. Sanctions on Russia will be lifted. Ukraine would receive reliable security guarantee. इसकी details नहीं है, but US will provide the reliable security guarantee. Also, US and Europe will provide funds to Ukraine to restore. Okay, now it has become very difficult for Ukraine. It cannot say no because US will go then. Also, it cannot say yes. Basically, you are ceding the territory. How will you justify to your people that after a war of 3 years, where hundreds and thousands of people and soldiers died, the economy collapsed, you're going to cede the territory? You're not going to join the NATO. Okay. So let's see. I think he'll accept the plan only. So if any updates come, we'll cover it. Presently, the military balance currently favors Russia, which now controls 20% of the pre-Ukraine. 2014 से यूक्रेन पहले 2014 क्रीमिया एनेक्सेशन से पहले जो यूक्रेन की टेरिटरी थी, आज उसका 20% जो एरिया है, इट इज अंडर द कंट्रोल ऑफ रशिया. Russia is basically going to win the war. Next, safe processing matters more than just the flavors. The article basically focuses about the street food. Street food gives us just the flavors. Okay, people in India loves to eat street food, and it's also very famous worldwide, right? But there are various issues like we will discuss in detail related to hygiene, health, oil. Okay, so the context is, in July 2024, basically 58 Pani Puri stalls were raided in China. Raids were there on these stalls. It was found that they were using contaminated water, dipping their hands into chutneys. Okay, so majorly India's food sector is dominated by the informal food sector. Either it is packaged food or unpackaged. Both are regulated by Food Safety and Standard Authority of India. Either it's packaged or unpackaged. We can't say that if the food is unpacked, for example, the Pani Puri, the Golgappe we eat at stalls, it is not controlled by, regulated by FSI. No, it is being done. Okay, but the thing is, it is not easy to enforce the regulation standards on unpacked food. Okay, so basically, as compared to the informal food sector, the street food sector, the packaged food industry basically is clearly being oversight by the Food Safety Authority. The entire production cycle, packaged food ka, from sourcing raw material to packing the final product, it is being done by Food Safety Authority. Now the companies are basically using more advanced methods of food processing like pasteurization, vacuum sealing, okay, aseptic packaging. So what happens is these techniques help reducing the microbial risk, right? Also there's transparency on the packaged food. How we can see on the packet what is there in the food, okay, what are the allergens, ingredients, expiry date, okay. So all these things, transparency is there, and also the various technological new methods are being used. But street food, which no doubt reflects our cultural heritage, also a big source of employment. Millions of livelihoods definitely depend on this. But there was a study by Observer Research Foundation that India records basically 100 million cases of foodborne illness annually. 10 crore cases of foodborne illness annually every year. It leads to 1,20,000 deaths. Okay, this is important data. It is basically a significant portion of these illnesses linked to the contaminated food from the informal sources and the street vendors. What they do, basically hygiene is not there. Okay, reuse of cooking oil, it diminishes the nutritional value but also adds the formation of trans fats. As we, when again and again we cook the oil, the harmful trans fats are being formed and toxic compounds are being formed in this oil. Food Safety Authority has introduced various initiatives to regulate the street food, like training and certifying the people who are selling this, integrating these vendors into regulatory framework. The BMC के साथ they have launched a safety training program. Okay, it includes personal hygiene, safe food handling, storage protocol to prevent the contamination and waste disposal हो proper way में. Right? There are also initiatives also regarding awareness of the food, like Eat Right India movement or the clean street food by the Food Safety Authority. This we can use in our conclusion. The future of food in India must be shaped not by the sentiment, that is 𝐮𝐻 flavors, the term used. We can use in our answers also 𝐮𝐻 flavors, but by an unwavering commitment to safety. Okay. Last article, IBSA meet on the sidelines of G20, where the leaders of IBSA, what is IBSA? India, Brazil, South Africa. Okay, 3 countries, minilateral. They met and discussed various reforms which are required to be taken. As the world, Prime Minister has highlighted, the world is fragmented and divided, so IBSA can provide a message of unity, cooperation and humanity. Okay. Now, the major initiatives, Prime Minister has proposed setting up IBSA Digital Innovation Alliance. Digital Innovation Alliance. It will facilitate the sharing of digital public infrastructure. Also UPI के लिए Prime Minister talked about. कोविन प्लेटफॉर्म था कोविड वैक्सीन से रिलेटेड. Okay, cyber security, women led tech initiatives. So all these things will be taken into consideration by the IBSA Digital Innovation Alliance. Then also talked about the IBSA fund, which is supporting the projects in various countries, like 40 countries that is doing. IBSA fund has been proposed especially for the climate resilient agriculture by the Prime Minister at the IBSA meet. AI summit जो next year होगी, we have already seen it. Also, there's going to be focus on cooperation in millets, natural farming, disaster resilience, green energy. Now the reforms in the UNSC which are required. Basically, United Nations is not reflecting the contemporary realities of the global order. Okay. So the important countries like in Africa, in Asia, they are not getting any representation. In the South America, they have no representation in Security Council. So what should be done? Security Council needs to be reformed so that it can reflect today's global power structure and enhance the legitimacy of UNSC. Right? Legitimacy, from where the legitimacy comes? Legitimacy comes from your composition, your processes, what basically you do. From there the legitimacy comes. If you are not representing the global order of the present world, then you are not legitimate. You do not have any legitimacy. The P5 countries, they retain the veto power. Basically उसकी वजह से there is no collective action. Majorly the world revolves around either the US, Russia or China. These two have become the passive player. If any motion comes, any resolution comes in against any one country, they will veto it, basically making the entire process, entire organization dysfunctional, right? And also there is absence of emerging powers like India, Brazil, Germany, Japan, South Africa. Okay, so it undermines the legitimacy and effectiveness. Also, United Nations, now it is required to increase the institutional agility so that it can simplify the decision making, field missions and leverage the digital tool. You cannot live in the old era. अब ये important है, reclaim the moral authority to speak truth to power. Just because one or two countries control the organizations like United Nations, World Bank, IMF, it doesn't mean that the institution will not speak truth to the power. If US is doing something wrong in any part of the country, it is the duty of the UNSC to talk about it, but it doesn't happen. Okay, selective silence is there. Also, member commitment, politically and financially, should be renewed so that the organization can function effectively. So these were the important articles from today's newspaper. I'm attaching these notes in the comment box and description box. If you have any query, you can ask in the comment box. I'll see you tomorrow. Till then, good luck. Goodbye. Thank you.